Hi, this is PA Camping Dad Doogie. Wanted to show you the different suspensions that I've gone through in my hammocks and tree straps, because I've made a change lately. So around the tree, I had the basic tree strap that in this case I've wrapped around the tree twice and passed the end of the strap through the loop on the tree strap. Tie my marlin spike hitch, which is very easy not to tie. There's lots of videos on it. And then you hook and I first started, I had a whoopie slings, and you place the whoopie sling on the knot. I normally pull this tab through just so I can see that it's on the knot and not on the toggle. And the whoopie string adjustment is pretty easy. I added this little bead here so that it wouldn't accidentally slide off the spike as you're adjusting it. But to adjust a whoopie sling, you need to compress the berry, and it'll just slide once you get the berry adjusted. This piece just slides on there. And the whoopie slings are nice, but it has the double length in this section, and the biggest thing that I didn't like about it was the length of this berry, and then the length down here of it coming out. This berry stops about here, so I made this a little longer. I made this myself. If I had made that closer, could have been about that much shorter, but still you're dealing with a minimum distance here of a little over a foot in this case. I could have wrapped this around this is an Eno, I could have wrapped it around there twice and reduced it down to probably about 10 inches or a little under a foot, but that really restricts the places you can hang from. So my next progression was to come back up here. We'll drop the whoopie sling off. Use the same setup on the tree with the marlin spike hitch, and in this case I used what's called a UCR, Universal Constrictor Rope, I believe is what it stands for. And in this one you have a static eye down here and you could certainly make this a little smaller. I got this from someone off a PIF on the forums. But in this case, the berry is a little shorter, so your minimum hang here, we've got this correctly done. Is much shorter. Well, maybe not a whole lot. Let's see, the minimum, I'm pretty much the minimum here. It's buried. Could have wrapped it around again, so it could be like that. So your minimum deal here would have been, again, about a foot. That would have been minimum. This double wrapped, you know, that's about a foot again for a minimum distance off the end. The downside to the UCRs is when you adjust it, you need to make sure that you milk this berry, squeeze it down good, and this one just uses a little prusik there to keep tension on the other end. That's critical to the UCR. If you don't have that, just a little touch there can drop you in the hammock. So after using that, I probably used that for 3 or 4 years. I liked it. I liked the less bulk. It's only the one length of line. A lot less stuff hanging. But my final, well, probably not final, but my current setup is with Dutch's new speed hooks. And in this case, the minimum distance is much shorter. Here I have this is a continuous loop around the end of my hammock, and that comes up to this new Dutch hook or speed hook, sorry, that he came out with. And the way that this works is you can hook your hammock on the suspension. And what's nice about that is too, this will normally be under your tarp because it's very close to your hammock. Again, I could have done another loop around my suspension and gotten it a little tighter here, but I kind of wanted a little bit of play there. And the way that this works is you have a single piece of am steel, and this has a lock Brummel on the end, a loop on the end, and that's put through the loop of your tree strap or tree hugger. In this case I used a tree strap, and I added the benefit of using one of his adjustable hooks, and this allows you to use a strap and adjust on that strap wherever you want the end of the hook, and you can just clip it on. It's quicker than feeding the end through, and it offers some adjustment. The downside is obviously it's a little more weight. I'll show you another option there. But then this comes down to a single piece of am steel that you feed through this hook, and the adjustment is very easy. You bring it up and you just put a little loop and drop it on. I've learned to make the loop so that it's not going, that's not the way to make the loop. See, if you did it this way, it holds fine, but I would think that one of the benefits of this is a water break. So I try to always make my loop so that it's going down and will encourage the water to go down. So make your loop that way. No, I did it again. Make your loop that way. And then it comes down. And just the pinching there, it locks very securely. It's very easy to adjust. It's got no bulk, and it reduces the amount of line you need. And probably the neatest is that now my minimum distance is probably about, I mean, really if I wanted to get it way down, I'll show you on the other end, I could get down to, you know, just a few inches, probably 6 inches. So let me go to the other end and show you. So with this change, I slightly reduced my suspension weight, but most of that reduction in weight was due to a shorter straps. I went from an 8-foot strap that I had been carrying to a 5-foot strap. And let me show you on the other end here. We'll walk down. So in this case, my 5-foot strap with this tree here, probably a little too close, wasn't big enough to get around the tree. I made it about 3/4 way around the tree. And pay no attention to this carabiner. I'll explain what that's for later. But as you see, my transition happened back here on the tree, and I just looped through my adjustable clip, and I added a little, I had a piece of climbing webbing. So I had a piece of climbing webbing, which is double layer, and I made a little tube out of it, and I keep this tube clipped to the end of my strap, and so I stick that in the carabiner when I'm not using it, and if I just use it as protection against the clip where the am steel comes through. And you see in this case, with the shorter strap, it still protects the tree, but I can come through here and hook it to my speed hook. Certainly you could even have much greater weight savings if you forgoed the clips. I decided to finally go for the clips because for the speed and ease of use. But I have another setup I made here with a tree hugger. Tree hugger has loops on both ends. And with a tree hugger, you certainly wouldn't need any of this protection. I'm just going to walk around the tree here, hopefully, so I hit myself with the rake. Now in this case, without the clips, you still have to pass it through your loop on there. But again, it gives you with this setup, you don't have to worry about the too fat a tree. And even when I used to use 8-foot straps, I did have 2 occasions over the years when I needed to extend them where it wasn't big enough. So with this, I normally have been carrying a 7-foot lead on my am steel and a 5-foot tree strap. I think that gives me a lot of flexibility. We'll see how it works through the years, but I just wanted to show that, and I'll put the weight savings in. I believe I didn't weigh my old whoopie slings. They're very long, but going from my UCR to the speed hooks, I dropped 0.6 ounce on the whole suspension, and that's even with adding the clips. Of course, that's going to shorter straps, but if I wanted to drop down, I'll write all of my weights down. But with this setup, I think this was only 1.6 ounces per lead, so it was a big weight savings if you want to go that way. But I think I'll go with the adjustable clips and use the adjustability and the speed of hookup. Get out there and have fun.